It's Jack Together. We've got Ozzie Mejia here to talk about the Pokemon World Championships 2024. But beyond that, of course, today is all about Opening Night Live, Jeff Keighley's premier summer event. Ironically, not Summer Games Fest. I guess it depends on who you ask. We've got all 6 announcements. We've got all the announcements covered on today's show, so please stick around for that. But before we talk about those announcements, we've got a little game called Name That Game, The Game, where I give the crew a 1-sentence description and see if they can name that game. On to story time, we cover Opening Night Live, as mentioned, before we head over to Preview Palooza. Shack News has the latest on the Plucky Squire, Stormgate, Emio, King of Meat, Avowed, and, of course, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. What an exciting show. Thanks for being here. It is time to kick it off. Here we go.
I was editing a bunch of vertical videos this past week, right? Because Ozzie was at the Pokemon World in Hawaii. And because, I take vertical video production very seriously, right, you guys?
Of course.
I wanted to tag the location of the video, right, to increase its visibility on various platforms, including TikTok, which still exists right now, right?
Right.
So there's like a search.
I think I know where you're going with this.
There's a search function. And it says popular places in your area. I live in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ozzie was in Hawaii, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what was suggested to me by TikTok. And I think it speaks. I just want to ask a simple question. Is TikTok okay? Because here's what was being suggested to me, a guy in Ohio.
Okay.
Number 1, Big Dick's Pizzeria in Pahrump, Nevada. Number 2, Suicide Hill in Wyoming.
Oh, no.
Number 3, the Tickle Pickle Restaurant in Cincinnati. Well, hey, that's in Ohio at least.
Right.
Big Butt Mountain, number 4, in North Carolina. Somewhere in Time in Lima, Ohio. Okay. I'm sure that's why it showed up. Just for You in Nevada, Missouri. I know.
Nevada, Missouri?
I know. That's very strange, right? Nevada, Missouri is a city, apparently.
Wow.
And that's Just for You. Jesus is King. I don't even know where this is. The
where
address
is that?
is too long.
Okay. Heaven.
Ho Island from Maine.
Well, we live there, right, boys?
PP Creek in Ohio.
Okay.
Yo Mama in Memphis. And
as opposed to Yo Mama in Austin.
or like wherever, right? And then lastly, the Cutie Patootie Princess Spa. I don't even know where because it cut off in my screenshot. So I ask, is TikTok okay?
Okay, 2 things come to mind. They really shouldn't let you, it should just be like geotagging you.
Period. Yeah, right? But
you shouldn't be able to say you're in Memphis.
But to be fair, Ozzie was the one creating the content in Hawaii. I was the one uploading it from Ohio. I was just trying to be accurate about where the video was shot.
No, sure.
But
I'm just saying it's clearly abused.
You think? Wait, are you telling me that people aren't actually at Big Dick's Pizzeria?
You know what? That's such an absurd name that they probably get plenty of traffic as a result of that name.
I don't know, man. Pahrump is not it's off the beaten path, man. That's
a name.
Isn't it like an hour west of Vegas or something?
I've never heard of it. It's got quite the phonetics.
It's such a funny sounding city. It's hard for me not to remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, PP Creek. Gotta make the pilgrimage to PP Creek. Anyway, I think TikTok's bad and they should feel bad. And this is just an example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That being the suggested list, I thought was insane.
But maybe my guess is those are legitimately like the top 15 most tagged locations, right?
I bet.
Yeah.
I guarantee Ho Island does numbers on there.
That's pretty funny.
And, Somewhere in Time. And I don't like that Suicide Hill is number 2. That's concerning.
That's pretty high up, yeah.
But yeah, it's just, wow. Anyway, there's my cold open for you.
That's good. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Why not? It's a swift one.
Uh-huh.
Did you listen to last week's episode?
Yeah. I was on it.
I know you were on it, but did you listen back to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear anything out of the ordinary at any moment, at any point in time throughout?
Yeah, I thought.
Okay.
Was it like one of your kids or something?
Not quite. No, that's not okay. You didn't hear a dog bark?
Yeah.
You want to know why you heard a dog bark?
Why?
So, podcast production is a learning experience. It's ever evolving, and I'm always trying to figure out how to do this cleaner and smoother and better. And shame on me, because cleaner and smoother and better yields dog barks. But when we're recording and I hear something that I want to make sure that I edit, I have been writing down like timestamps on a piece of paper.
Sure.
So like if I hear a cough or whatever, if I hear someone say, "Hey, I got to go to the bathroom," I'll make sure I mark that down so that's not in the show. So I had this bright idea that, well, instead of writing down a timestamp, I'll just get like a trigger board, like a MIDI board, and I'll smack a keyboard when I hear a cough or whatever, and I'll record it on a separate track, and I'll have this track of sounds that I can see, as waveforms come edit time. And wouldn't you know it, I didn't mute the track, and the sound that I smacked on the keyboard was a dog barking. So
that was a sample.
It was a sample. So erstwhile listeners will catch a dog barking, which was my attempt to be a good editor, and yet there's a fake dog in our last episode, and it's clear as day. Can you find it?
I do remember hearing it, and I was just like, Joe doesn't have a dog. And then I was like, Donovan? And I was like, Donovan's family has a dog. But I don't think the dog lives with him.
Even better is that it's like, Joe doesn't, wait, is Donovan at his family's house, and did he mic up the dog? Because it's crystal clear.
It is very... okay, yeah. I don't remember when it happened in the show, but I do remember hearing it. And I don't know, I just kind of assumed there was a dog somewhere, like it is very noticeable.
Well, let's hope no one hears dogs on this episode, if I do it right.
And if they do, it'll be an Easter egg for next week.
Plucky is very quiet. I'm looking at him right now. He's like laid on his side. He's on his bed. He likes to keep me company. He doesn't make a lot of noise.
But did you mic him up?
No, like he's fine. He just does this during the day.
All right, we could wait. Just mic him up.
He is peacefully asleep. Look, I'm not bugging him after the month he's had. He's still getting used to life without, I think it's like 2 incisors that they had to take out.
Oof.
He's getting used to chewing again.
That's good.
But he's mostly back to his old self.
Nice.
Cool. I guess we should start the show.
Yeah, let's freaking start it.
You're listening to Shack Together, a Shack News video game podcast where this is Saturday Night Live announcer voice. Opening night! Not live.
Go.
Is that good?
Yeah, that was great.
Opening night live recorded or something.
Opening night live, but not. There you go.
With Bobby Moynihan.
With Jeff Keighley and the Opening Night Live band. Hey. G.E. Smith. I'm your host, Asif Khan, and today I'm not joined by my co-host, John Benyamine, who's somewhere. I don't know. He's out there. He may appear. Who knows?
He might.
He's like an apparition that haunts the podcast, I think. So he might actually be there right now.
He's
but
a
I am
force
joined
ghost.
by our producer, Joe Stasio.
Hi.
And our senior editor, Ozzie Mejia. In the one day that he had free for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, you picked the one day that my schedule for like this 5-week period is like, I don't really need to bore the listeners with it, but it's I'm barely home, and I think I have like maybe 1 or 2 days that I have free, and I'm going to spend it playing Star Wars Outlaws. So
Oh, I hope you're buying that hot season pass to go along with it.
I'm buying the gold edition so I get it 3 days early. Thank you very much. And so that I get that season pass.
Oh, there you go.
I'm excited for the season pass. I think I want to play with Lando. I love Hondo. Like, I'm in for this. Like,
Wait.
I like this plan. I want to be a part of it.
Wait, you have to pay more to play as Lando?
Well, you're playing at the sabacc table with Lando.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Greedy.
That's even weirder. We'll get to that in another episode, or maybe later this episode, but cool. Well, I'm happy you made it back from Hawaii, at least, and then immediately got thrown back into the fire. But yeah, so Ozzie, what have you been playing? What have you been doing? Maybe tell us about the Pokemon World Championships a little bit.
You know, I just came back from Hawaii for where they held the Pokemon World Championships, and this was something that's been on my it's been on my bucket list of things to cover for a long time. I think I started watching these competitive Pokemon Worlds events maybe when I first started at Shack News, and I was like, oh wow, this looks really cool. Because I was in on the Pokemon craze from the beginning, and the idea of training my Pokemon and having the best lineup out there and being able to put it up against other players, I think that's cool. And putting it up on the world stage, so much cooler, especially now that they've embraced the production value and they've really tried to make this like a party atmosphere. And I'm so in on that whole thing. So last year they were in Yokohama, and I think the year before that they were in London. So when they said they were coming to Honolulu, I said, okay, I think I got one shot at this, because I don't think they're coming back to the United States anytime soon. Because my assumption was they're going to go to like some of the other markets. They're going to go to Korea. They're going to go to Germany. They're going to go to South America. They're going to go somewhere that's not here. So I had to twist your arm for a few months there, Asif, to convince you to let me go cover this.
Yeah.
And then, and my efforts paid off. I went to Honolulu. It's so beautiful over there compared to LA. Like, I can walk around. Like, it's scenic. It's gorgeous. The people are friendly. I loved that whole atmosphere being there, and watching all the different Pokemon games, including one that I had my eye on, but didn't really like register that it could really be that big. Pokemon Unite.
Yeah.
Pokemon Unite is the MOBA that I thought, okay, it's going to be like one of those other MOBA clones, but what's the possible ceiling for this thing? And it turns out it's got a high ceiling, because that grand finals on Saturday was intense.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that whole community is amazing. They're so welcoming. They're so friendly. They're oozing with personality. Like,
you're talking about a MOBA being welcoming and friendly.
But that's the whole thing. That they said they want that to set them apart. They're like, okay, we're fully aware of what League is. We know what Dota is.
Yeah.
We know that if anybody new tries to go anywhere near that, like, they're drowned in toxicity, like, almost immediately. And they're like, we're Pokemon. We don't want to do that. We know what we're in for. We know exactly the type of people that'll play this game. So yeah, let's get more like-minded people into this fun MOBA that's like, what? Like, I think sessions are like 10, 15-minute games.
Yeah, they're a lot shorter than a Dota match would be, for sure.
Yeah, and super easy to play. Like, I could probably jump back in right now and do like decent. Like, I wouldn't like, be a top 10 player or anything, but I bet you I could at least win more than I lose.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I loved that whole thing, and just being out there in that scenic state of Hawaii is just so beautiful. I thought, man, I really can't wait to see what they got lined up next year. So I go to closing ceremonies, and that's where they end with the announcement of the host city for next year. And then they make the announcement, and they go, we're going to Anaheim. I go, what do you mean you're going to Anaheim? What do you mean you're going 15 minutes from my house? After all this trouble I went to come out here, you're just going to be like, oh yeah, we're just going to go to you, Ozzie. You didn't have to do all this?
It's weird too, because that's back-to-back years it's going to be in the United States, and then they announce 2026 is also going to be in the United States, also going to be in California, in San Francisco.
San Francisco, I can see at least being a little better for it, because there is stuff to do in San Francisco. Like,
it's expensive, though.
It's really expensive, and it's not as walkable as it used to be. Like, that's the thing about Hawaii. Hawaii, you can walk anywhere you want, and you'll feel like you're having. It's a very touristy city that way.
Yeah,
San Francisco used to be that, and it's not as much fun to walk around because of the homeless situation and also the construction situation. Like, half of the city is still. I feel like San Francisco has been under construction for most of my life.
Yeah, that's fair.
with projects that get abandoned halfway through and then they just start something else, and it's like, okay, like that's not as good. Like, people will find stuff to do out there though. Anaheim, what do you want people to do in Anaheim? There's one thing in Anaheim. You have Disneyland, but you're not sending people to Disneyland because they'd be there the whole day.
Yeah, you can't do Pokemon Worlds and Disneyland. You're gonna have to stay an extra day or something if you want to do that.
Maybe like the only like comparable thing that Anaheim would have to Honolulu would be like the food situation. Like, Downtown Disney has stepped up their food game a lot, and like they've got like some big time Asian cuisine. They're about to open Porto's Bakery next year, which is like, for those that don't know, Porto's is like this Cuban American joint that's really gathered a cult following. Like, the potato balls are excellent. Like, the pastries are just to die for, and they're going to open one of those at Downtown Disney next year. So hopefully it'll be open by the time Worlds gets here. But yeah, food is about all that Anaheim has. Like, you can't walk Anaheim, that's for sure.
That's wild, dude. And at the Worlds though, we got some news about like the Pokemon TCG Pocket game is coming out later this year. They're bringing trainers cards back to Pokemon TCG.
Greg was really excited about the trainer cards coming back, because it's like that was like a big feature that they had like way back at the beginning. Like, I've been out of the TCG game, but like, man, that crowd reaction to trainer cards coming back, like that's a big deal.
Yeah, so it's cool to see, like, you know, you have Pokemon Go on display there, you have Unite there, you have traditional Pokemon games there.
And of course for me, Pokemon Go. Like, I play a lot of Pokemon Go because in my travels, I've come to really, get into it. And to the point that when Go Fest comes around, like, I just do it. I'll go down to Long Beach, I'll hang out with people, I'll make friends, and we'll just like all catch Pokemon together. They opened up closing ceremonies with some weird announcement for Pokemon. So they said, quote unquote, something big is coming.
Yeah.
But we don't know what that means yet.
Gigantamax is my guess.
Yeah. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I just the size of the portal that was there in that trailer. Oh, the trailer was cool as hell, though. I was like, man, if Pokemon Go looked like this, I would play it every day.
Well, Pokemon Go is great at making trailers.
Yeah.
They've nailed that aspect of it.
No question. But you know what, Ozzie, you're right, man. When I was traveling, I used to play Pokemon Go all the time, and since I've kind of stopped traveling, I have basically stopped playing Pokemon Go, which is sad. My backyard is basically an Eevee sanctuary, though. If you ever need an Eevee, my backyard is the place to be.
I could always use more Eevees.
I know, right? It's not. I'm not complaining. It's cool, but like, it is literally like Eevee sanctuary back there, which is funny because like in real life there are deer back there all the time. So it's
excellent.
Like, yeah, like the game is funny like that.
And I used to ship Donovan a shirt because I went to the Pokemon Center. PR was able to get us in as soon as they opened the doors. And one thing I came to notice as I was getting footage for our social channels is the merchandise goes fast.
I bet.
Like, by the time I got like the last of the videos, like I looked around, I'm like, how are there already empty shelves? Like, it hasn't even been an hour yet.
Yeah.
And the line goes all the way outside the convention center. Like, it's wild. Like, I don't know how they're going to do that in Anaheim. I mean, I guess they have experience managing that sort of thing, because I went to D23 in Anaheim a few weeks ago, and the lines for those stores are like bonkers. And
that's the same place that BlizzCon is held too, right? So
BlizzCon used to be held. R.I.P.
Oh my god, I forgot. Sorry. R.I.P. I can't believe that. That's insane.
Yeah, well, we'll get more into Microsoft later, but yeah, that's among the Microsoft casualties is BlizzCon.
Barf. Did you have a chance to play any games while you were doing all this stuff?
I other than catching up with my Pokemon Go collection, I sadly have not had like almost any time to play any games in the last few weeks. But something that I have been catching up on for Gamescom, and this can help make our Gamescom segment just a little bit shorter, is I did play Avowed.
Nice.
And Avowed is something that nobody has really gotten to actually go hands-on with until now. And I didn't know what to expect, because as much as I love Obsidian and as much as I love Jabby, because Jabby's our guy, I did not get to play Pillars of Eternity, the first two games. Never got into it, never got into that whole world. But Avowed is set in that Pillars of Eternity universe. But it plays very similar to something like Elder Scrolls, because it's got that whole first-person combat thing. But the dialogue is pure Obsidian. It's like something you'd see out of New Vegas or like the Outer Worlds.
Oh,
In terms of like you set your traits, these options open up. The characters are like all they react to what you say and all that. Like I've got a very small slice of all of this, but I'm excited to see more. It's definitely a game where I need more than a 1 hour vertical slice to make a judgment on it. But
sure.
yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's too bad that it got delayed, but hopefully they can put some polish on it because at the end of the day, it is Obsidian. They kind of need that extra time to polish up their games just a little bit.
No, Ozzy, they had to get out of the way for the deluge of Microsoft video games that are coming out because there's so many first-party Microsoft games.
Oh, man. And again, we'll get to Microsoft in a little bit.
That delay announcement, though. Look, if it gives them more time to polish, if they're confident in launching in February, by all means do it. I think it looks cool as hell.
I want it to be really good, and I'm very interested in it now after having tried it out.
What you mentioned about their branching dialogue paths, like they do a very good job of that stuff. It's pretty funny. New Vegas is funny. There's parts of Outer Worlds that are pretty amusing too. And yeah,
I had to really think about my last conversation with the Oracle that you're into because you're helping the Oracle. You're helping like an Oracle there with a piece of a statue that will help bring a fallen god to life. And on paper, that sounds like a bad idea. And you don't even know if it's going to work. But the last conversation, like you try and kind of talk him down from it, but then it gives you indications that there will be consequences if you do. And he goes, he's ready to pick a fight with you if you keep going this path. And I'm like, well, I don't want to fight this guy. So eventually I just start humoring him. And I managed to avoid a fight entirely. Which that's the kind of thing that like I love out of Obsidian games. Like I loved that out of the Outer Worlds the most. But yeah, I hope there's a lot of that in Avowed.
Cool. Joe, you're still playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Wow. Yes, I am. When did it come out? February? March?
Yeah.
Yep, came out in February, and I'm still not done with it.
Yeah. Wow, Ozzy,
Yeah.
where are you in it?
I'm on chapter 13. I have to be. I keep telling myself I have to be at the end of it by now.
Yeah, I thought it was 14 chapters. So you're. I feel like I heard that. I could be wrong, but it's something like that. It's in that vicinity.
Are you at the temple where it keeps switching your playable character?
Wow, spoilers. No.
You're not there yet. Oh, you're not close to done yet then.
I'm not. No.
You got a ways to go.
I just started chapter 11. So, yeah, I'm at hour marker 70 or something. This is a long one. I'm committed though. I've put in 20 hours in the past week, which for me is quite a bit. Yeah, good looking game. I'll say more.
580. I know what you mean.
Dang.
I see a light at the end of the tunnel.
75? I'm going slow then, I guess. I've done absolutely everything except the piano mini game.
Oh, you're not into the piano mini game?
I don't like it.
Thank you. I don't either. It's weird.
It's probably just the Guitar Hero player in me, but like I was totally into it.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't really like the Guitar Hero games either, so
same.
That makes sense.
Anyway, sorry for the boring updates here, but that's what I'm playing, and it's taking forever.
Yeah.
You get caught up with those side quests a lot. Like when I got to Gongaga and I got to the lady that needs her chickens to get her chickens back.
Oh, that was brutal.
Like I posted the ending of that quest on social. Asif, if you saw it.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing, it gets so twisted. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm here for. Like unexpected moments like that.
Yeah.
I gotta say, in terms of ridiculous side quests, my favorite is the Johnny Hotel.
Oh, that's right.
I guess I don't want to say more, but if you encounter Johnny in Corel, is that right? Corel?
Yeah.
See that to the end. Ridiculous Final Fantasy content.
And then I flew at least 10 hours on Chocobo races, but I finally got through the end of that.
Wow.
So yeah, I want to shout out our friend of the show, friend of the Shack, Megaran. He dropped a new album called Black Materia Rebirth this week. And it is a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth themed album.
Wow.
The song Barrett on it is fire. He also has a song where he basically explains how to play Queen's Blood. It's really good. Yeah, highly recommend the album. But yeah, that Barrett song, very good. So I'm going to list some games that I've been playing, but I'll be honest with you, I've been editing more videos than I've been playing video games in the last week. Partially because I was helping out Ozzy, but also because Jeff Keighley had his smorgasbord of trailers earlier this week.
Yeah.
So the number one thing I've been playing is not a video game. It's YouTube Shorts videos, and the algorithm has determined that I need to be a Crip. So it's been C-Walk tutorials to Kendrick Lamar music and Snoop and Dr. Dre.
Sure.
I've probably been served like 50 Crip Walk videos in the last week. So shout out YouTube for trying to get me into a gang. I don't think my Achilles are flexible enough to make any of these moves anymore though. But shout out to YouTube thinking I want to learn this. And if that's not weird enough, I also played in Madden. The one time a year that I play Madden. Donovan and I, it's basically become an annual stream where Donovan beats the crap out of me in Madden. So we played 2 games. I was my Detroit Lions for the first game, but Jared Goff is not a very mobile quarterback, and that's how I tend to play these games. So I got my ass kicked. The Ravens beat the Lions. And then the next game, I picked the best team in the game, the Kansas City Chiefs, and I still lost to Donovan. And he picked the Bears just to even add more insult to injury. But the Bears look kind of good this year.
I have a question for you about Madden.
Uh-huh.
Isn't Madden 25 the name of a game that came out 10 years ago?
Yes.
And they made no effort to change the name?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. That's EA. That's EA football for you.
Wow.
Yeah. So I hate it. I don't want to play it. It got a 6 out of 10 at Shack News. Donovan reviewed it. As someone who's been singing the praises of college football all season, I can tell you, if you like football simulation and you don't care about pro versus college, get college football. But if you are an NFL fan exclusively, I don't think college football will resonate with you, so you can buy this trash game instead. But it's not good. They brought over some of the improvements that you see in college football, but not all of them. So it still is like, in my opinion, Madden is like an interception simulator. It's just, I don't know. I think the collision detection on players, on the ball, it's just bad. It's not a good simulation at all. And it's not even, it'd be one thing if it was like a fun arcadey experience, but it's not even that. It's just bad at everything. So yeah, fine. Maybe it's not the worst Madden to come out in recent years, but it's not great. So I went back and I started playing Monkey Ball Banana Rumble again too.
Nice.
Ozzie, you were not lying, man. The difficulty spike at the end of this game is absurd.
Try to warn you.
Ridiculous. To the point where like I've started figuring out like Leroy Jenkins style solutions to some of these Ozzie where you just hold forward and pray. And some of them are working, surprisingly. I have a clip I suppose to social where I was just like, I tried to do this. It was like this tilting platform one. I was just like, what if I just go as fast as possible? And it worked. There's a lot where you have to like jump into the goal now. There's not even a platform in front of the goal. It just gets very hard. I'm on world 10 of it. I still think it's a great game, but I'd say the back third of it, it's just not even fun. It's just hard. But like the completionist in me, I feel like I have to do it, right? So I'm still playing it from time to time.
It's just like me and Joe with Final Fantasy. You got to see it through to the end.
Yeah, except like Monkey Ball's way shorter.
Yeah, but it's an equal commitment in terms of like brain power
and tedium.
Sure.
And then I've also been playing this game is great for me because like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time to play games in the last week, so a pick up and play and then be on with my day kind of game is perfect. And that's Nintendo World Championships NES edition. Nice. I beat the Donkey Kong Master Challenge, Ozzie. That thing was hard. Right. It's literally just beat the first 3 levels, but doing that without screwing up is difficult. I'm still loving the adventure,
especially because that last level, it's stream like they give you an optimal route, but there's still some RNG involved. Where if a fireball gets in your way, like that ruins your run. You're
dead right. The fireball is the least predictable thing in Donkey Kong, and yeah, they can show you the optimal path, but that thing is RNG. It is not. Yeah, you're dead right. I got to say though, the game that like I'm like, man, I should go back and play this game. Adventures of Link. That game's great. I think it's very much like the bastard child of the Zelda franchise, but like it's really good and different and fun. So I'm enjoying those challenges quite a bit. I'm a Kirby fanatic, so I'm really enjoying the Kirby aspect of this game too. I've progressed pretty far in that. I still haven't unlocked all the challenges yet, but I'm basically just playing this as a single player game, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So it's been fun. And then like when I need to raise more points, I go back and if I have an A plus, I try to get A plus rank or S rank. So I'm trying to get S ranked in all the Ice Climber levels right now. I really like Ice Climber. That needs to come back. That game needs to come back in some sort of way. But yeah,
I don't actually even know what that game is. What is Ice like? I know the characters.
Platformer.
But, yeah,
it's a platformer where you have a mallet and you basically knock the ceiling above you like out so you can jump above. Like you progress by going up.
Is it reverse Dig Dug?
Yes, but like yeah, I think that's probably one of the best way to describe it. But yeah, it's like it has the platforming physics of like a snow level in a 2D Mario game. So you're always sliding. And then there's like a condor at the top. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a simple game, right? It's definitely a retro simple game. But yeah, we need a new one of those badly. And yeah, Kid Icarus is still really tough. I kind of want them to, Ozzie, I remember in your review, you're like, more. I feel the same way. Like, it's not like I want more challenges in these games. I want more games.
I also want more games.
I want like RC Pro-Am or like, I don't know, Rad Racer. Yeah, I mean, like, or Tetris. I know Tetris isn't like a Nintendo first party game, but like when I think NES, I think of that Tetris game.
But I think that there is room for growth. I think it's structured in such a way that they could add games down the line if they wanted to. Yeah,
definitely. But the ones that they went with at launch are great. These are their iconic franchises and like a couple of lesser, I wouldn't say they're lesser, but just the ones that they haven't really rebooted recently, Kid Icarus and Ice Climber, and you get the lost levels from Mario. Like there's some good stuff in there. But yeah, it's great. Still playing it, and it's nice because it's fitting into my schedule pretty well. So I highly recommend that game. And then I'm still playing Suika game. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say, in terms of a reboot of Ice Climbers, like I just can't imagine it. Like what does the 2025 Ice Climbers look like?
It's a mobile game.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of like the AAA Switch treatment.
I don't think you could do that. I think it's not. It's a AA game at best. It's like a Mario versus Donkey Kong style game. Like it wouldn't be you're not going to be like, oh, in a world with ice, 2 climbers.
Do like a God of War treatment?
No, that's not happening. So it's like, I think it's the simplicity of the game that makes me be like, God damn, I want a new one of these. Like, because all you have to do is make it slightly more difficult, right? Like create like some kind of different platforming puzzles, which I think they could do. But also you could just bring that game to mobile and give it a new coat of paint. And I think it would do extremely well. Yeah. There was I think it was called Pocket Mine, which was like Dig Dug for phones. It was great.
Downwell.
Downwell. Downwell's actually good on like a console too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, I'm thinking of more appealing to that casual audience, because like I don't think you're gonna make like a $60 Ice Climber game.
Gritty Ice Climbers reboot where one of them dies toward the end.
It's like the beginning of the movie Cliffhanger and Nana dies. Yeah. Terrifying. I mean, the last time we saw them, I know they've been in Smash for several generations now, but yeah, like give them a game.
I mean, what happens when you get to the top of the mountain, right?
There's a condor, and if you have to grab it, and then he flies you away.
Just you had an answer ready to go. Nice.
Yeah. First there's a bonus level, and then at the top of the bonus level there's a condor. It's great. I love that.
Bonus level is finding the Chaos Emerald in a pinball style.
No, there's eggplants, and it's even more slippery. And then there's like flying platforms that are also slippery.
Right. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, I just please Nintendo. I know you're listening, Doug Bowser. This is basically all you do is listen to our podcast.
I think he transcribes it for us.
Shout out. Give us Ice Climber, and I don't have like amazing things to say about Kid Icarus, the 2D game, but Uprising, I would love a new Uprising. And that's what you're talking about, Joe. Like a real AAA reboot of a game. Right. Kid Icarus Uprising. like 2 or whatever would be great.
I got to get that thing. I don't have the 3DS game. I have a nice 3DS collection. I do not have that one.
It's, I don't know, Ozzie and I.
The thing with the 3DS game is you need that second analog stick. You need the attachment.
No, Ozzie, you need that stupid stand.
And the stand.
You need the stand so you can use your stylus as a right analog replacement.
Something like that.
What the heck?
I remember being very fortunate that I was able to review most of that game like while I was at GameFly. During office hours.
But like, Joe, does your 3DS have the little nubbin for the second analog?
Yes, it does.
Okay, you're good. You can play the game. But before that game came out on like the previous 3DS iterations, you literally had to have a stand because it just got too awkward holding it with one hand. And
wow.
Yeah. It's a game that like its input was terrible, but the game was great. And like Switch has 2 analogs. It's like, come on guys, port this game over, and they never did.
Sure.
Which is frustrating. But yeah, I mentioned I'm playing Suika game. It's just a cute little puzzle game. I've gotten back into it quite a bit. It's a nice nighttime chill out game. And this may surprise some people, but yeah, I played some F-Zero 99 over the weekend.
Come on. All right, the ticker's going nuts now.
Breaking news.
It says liar with many exclamation points.
Well, enough about Phil Spencer. Here are my rivals of the week: Fork Tender, Rapidodo, and Star Kerbo. Shout out to all 3 of them. I think I like beat and lost to them in Grand Prix. I had a pretty gut-wrenching event, I should say. I was on the last lap of the last turn on Whiteland 1, and I was killing it. I was like ahead of people by a few seconds, but I did that thing where I used too much boost on the last turn, which, knocked me down to no energy. And there were like 4 flashing red drones in front of me. And I took a turn too tight, hit the last corner of the last turn on the last lap while I was in first, and I died.
Ugh.
That sucked. But yeah, it's happening more now to me where like, I'm just in first place during races now. That's happening a lot more. And I am currently ranked S4, and I was, I think, 6,900 out of 10,000 last week.
Nice.
Which is not terrible, but, like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time. This was like, I've gotten off of my cadence of playing it every day, and that's bothering me. So I'm going to try to get back on that train. I think without Ozzie being at Pokemon Worlds or... I don't know where the hell I think you're going to PAX next.
PAX next week, and then I'm going to a few redacted locations that I can discuss.
Yeah, but like...
it's Ho Island.
He's going to Ho Island. Good call.
One of some of those TikTok locations that it turns out are actually real.
They are real, but...
Oh, they're real.
This is real weird. But yeah, so I played F-Zero 99. I love that game. Still my favorite game ever. And it's a magical game. Highly recommend other people play it. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Wow.
A lot. Even though I said I wasn't playing a whole lot, like there was a decent amount of games that I played. But like I can tell you, like the amount of hours I spent in these games was less than the previous week.
Hey, that's just math, baby.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it for what we've been playing segment. So we must have some cool new game coming up that Joe made. Yeah,
you know what? I can add to your game time hour count for this week in the next segment. So stick around and we'll be right back.
That's a segue.
Welcome to Name That Game, the game. I've been having some restless dreams, thinking to myself, I've been doing Asif dirty past couple weeks.
Yeah, you have.
I thought to myself, it's time to even the playing field.
Okay.
And so there is no skew on today's contest, which means that, Asif, you got a fair shake at this just as much as Ozzie does. Like I was going to do like a Pokemon World Championship winners over the past 10 years, something like that. Ozzie just would have came in swinging. And
I don't know. We probably both would have done terribly at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just off the top of my head right now. I just meant like
Sure.
I wanted to get some real competition going. And so in today's game, I'm going to read one sentence, and they're all in the same format. These sentences are all in the same format. You'll get the gist of where I'm going. But the answer to every question is a single video game. So just name the game.
Okay.
Buzz in with your name.
So Ozzy, you say Ozzy, and I say Asif.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's right.
I like
buzz
to
in with your
explain
name
that to the folks at home.
Yep. And if you both get it wrong, I'll reset, and you can each take a different turn. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
You guys are well learned video gamers, so I don't even think I don't even think that's going to happen. Here we go. Question number 1. This game was released in 2011 and features an expansive open world set in the northern province of Tamriel with dragons and Ozzy.
Skyrim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's in. Okay. Next question. This game was released in 2017 and explores an open world post-apocalyptic version of Hyrule, where the player... Go ahead.
Hyrule Champions.
Incorrect.
Ozzy. Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
I'm an idiot.
This game was released in 2007.
I got Breath of the Wild wrong. Come on. just give it to Ozzy at this point.
This game was released in 2007 and introduces players to the atmospheric underwater city of Rapture.
Awesome.
Asif.
BioShock.
Correct.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to say anything else.
Your tonality implied that you had another word coming.
Nope. Nope. I was going to say BioShock.
This game was released in 2020, featuring an island getaway.
Awesome. Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Correct.
Getting back on track.
This is a game of speed. You guys got to move quick. And so far I'm having trouble distinguishing between your names because they start the same. That's my challenge here. That's the game I'm playing. This game was released in 2018 and features Kratos and his son Asif.
God of War.
Correct. This game was released in 2004 and is the first massive multiplayer online game set in the
World of Warcraft.
Correct. This game was released in 2013 and takes place in the fictional city of Los Santos.
Awesome.
Asif.
Grand Theft Auto 5?
Correct. This game was released. Yep. This game was released in 2015 and features Geralt of Rivia on a quest. Asif.
The Witcher 3.
Correct. This game was released in 2010, featuring a silent protagonist navigating the nuclear wasteland of the Mojave Desert.
Awesome.
Ooh. Asif, I heard. Yeah.
Fallout 4?
Incorrect.
Ozzy. Fallout 3.
Incorrect.
Ozzy.
Asif.
Mojave Desert. Awesome. Fallout New Vegas?
Correct. I shouldn't allow you to call your name and then not say something for 4 seconds, but
hey,
I'm going to police that better next time.
Yeah, you can do that. That's not on me.
You're right. This game was released in 2009 and allows players to explore, build, and survive in a blocky.
Asif.
Minecraft is correct. The tally so far is 7-3 in favor of Asif. Ozzy, you're falling behind, bud. Here we go. This game was released in 2001 and is known for its revolutionary sandbox gameplay and story set in Liberty City. Asif.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
That's correct. This game was released in 2014 and revitalized the first-person shooter genre with its unique parkour mechanics and giant mechs.
Asif. Titanfall.
Correct.
Stand by.
This game was released in 2020, following the journey of Ellie and Redacted. Ozzy.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Correct. This game was released in 2016 and pioneered the team-based shooter experience with unique...
Ozzy. Overwatch.
Yeah.
Correct.
Good one.
This game was released in 2007, featuring an open world with parkour elements and a storyline involving the Assassins and Templars.
Asif. Assassins and Templars.
2, 1.
Dishonored?
Answer. Incorrect.
Ozzy.
Assassin's
Creed.
Correct. This game was released in 2008 and involves protecting a mining ship from monstrous creatures while exploring.
Ozzy.
Yep.
Dead Space.
Correct. This game was released in 2017 and is set in ancient Egypt with players stepping into the shoes of Bayek.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
That's correct. I don't know if it's Bayek or Bay. I think it's Bayek. I apologize.
Bayek, yeah.
This game was released in 2013 and features Lara Croft's origin story as she becomes the... Yep.
Tomb Raider.
Correct. This game was released in 2008 and allows players to step into the shoes of Nico Bellic.
Awesome.
Yep.
Grand Theft Auto 4.
That's correct.
Cousin. Sorry.
This game was released in 2014 and pits players against mobs of enemies and each other in a revolutionary pseudo MMO package.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Battleborn?
Incorrect.
Ozzy. Fortnite?
Incorrect. This game was released in 2014 and pits players against mobs of enemies and each other in a revolutionary pseudo MMO package.
Ozzy. DayZ?
Incorrect. 3, 2, 1.
Awesome.
3, 2, 1.
Arma 3?
Incorrect. The answer is Destiny. 2014. Destiny.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Bill LaVoy's out here screaming at his podcast right now.
Sam and Bill are screaming at their podcast devices.
This game...
the freaking game, the website. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
This game was released in 2008 and is a comedic open world game featuring superhero missions and villain confrontations in Gotham.
Awesome. Lego Batman.
Oh, very good. Wasn't sure about that.
I was going to say, like, this is not an Arkham game because there's nothing funny about Arkham.
No, not at all. When he said funny, I was like, this has to be Lego.
This game was released in 2018 and features a web-slinging hero as he swings. Awesome.
Marvel's Spider-Man.
Ooh, and he got the semantics in check, too.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzy, the score is 13-8, and there are exactly 5 questions left.
Damn. Sudden death.
So if you're able to tie it, I will come up with something on the spot. But here we go. This game was released in 2021, introducing players to the Viking Age with a protagonist who establishes a settlement in Ozzy.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
That is correct. This game was released in 2014 and is known for its unique blend of tower defense and first-person shooter mechanics. This game was released in 2014 and is known for its unique blend of tower defense and first-person shooter mechanics. The hell?
Yeah, I got nothing.
I'm going to adjust this. I think I have a typo. This game was released in 2014 and is known for its unique blend of tower defense and third-person shooter mechanics.
Okay.
Ozzy.
Fortnite. Incorrect.
Asif Battleborn?
Incorrect.
I'm just going to guess
Again?
Battleborn.
Incorrect. 3.
I think I might win because of this.
3, 2, 1. The answer is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not first person.
Correct.
Okay. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good game.
Yeah. I got 3 more for funsies if you're interested.
Yeah, sure.
This game was released in 2023 and is set in the magical world of Hogwarts.
Awesome. Hogwarts Legacy.
I heard you both at the same exact time, but that is correct.
Okay.
This game was released in 2019, featuring an apocalyptic world where players combat mutants and search for resources to survive.
2019.
Featuring an apocalyptic world where players combat mutants and search for resources to survive. Hint, it takes place in... I don't know. I assumed Russia.
That's not much of a hint then.
Oh, okay. Of course. Awesome.
Yes.
Stalker?
Good guess. No. You're in the realm.
Ozzy. Shoot. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden?
Wow. The full title. Incorrect. The correct answer here is Metro Exodus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Which, when I was looking this up,
that at Judges Week, Ozzy.
I think we did, yeah.
I can't believe this is 2019. 5 years old. It felt like, I don't know, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This last one is a joke. Let's see who gets it faster. This game was woefully released in 2020, exploring a cybernetic open world with first... Go ahead.
Cyberpunk 2077.
That's correct. With a score of 15-9, Asif is our crowned champion.
Yep.
Wow.
I did it.
In a battle that was evenly pitted.
And Ozzie was out to the lead early. When I missed Breath of the Wild, I was completely shook.
That was rough. But you scrambled back.
Did Hyrule Warriors come out that same year?
I don't think so. I think maybe it was the following year. Didn't it come out after Breath of the Wild and it kind of looked like Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, you're right. But there was one for Wii U.
There was one before Breath of the Wild. Definitely not the same year.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Of course. I think it was like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was the one that came after.
That's correct.
And then there was just Hyrule Warriors for Wii U.
There you go.
And
do you have like
I've shamed my family for not getting Breath of the Wild right.
Do you have like a press conference wrap up that you want to?
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Ozzie had me in the first half. Yeah.
Well done. Congratulations. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Nice. We'll be back with extended version of story time, so stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. Boy, are there a lot. So we have a new segment here called Storytime Opening Night Quickies. Trademark. So we're going to talk about Opening Night Live, the Jeff Fest that's happening over at Gamescom. Where to even start?
Wow.
Like, honestly, a lot of things happened, a lot of things announced. Borderlands 4. That's happening.
Kick it off.
After a weekend of just being buried on Twitter, Randy Pitchford came out of his cave and said Borderlands 4 is in development. As a little bit of a teaser, I did see a lot of developers on Twitter who are very excited to announce that they've been working on it. So shout out to Gearbox. They're making another Borderlands, which was already kind of announced before. When they announced that Gearbox had been acquired by Take-Two, this was announced then. So it's not like, oh my God, none of us knew this was happening. Like, obviously there was another Borderlands coming. So good. We got a logo now.
I know they thought that the movie would be doing better right now, but still, like, bringing out Borderlands 4 as the movie is just bombing spectacularly at the box office. Like, the timing's not ideal.
No, it's really not.
It's reactionary, right? Like, it's because of the movie.
You gotta wonder if they were like, hey, Jeff, how much to get this put in the front? And they just kind of cut Jeff a check. We'll get into paying Jeff to make announcements down the road, too. So there's a white Xbox Series X,
all digital.
It's coming out in October.
Yeah, no disc drive.
That happened. And then there's like a special edition that has like glitter on it or something. Ozzie, I don't know. You saw it yesterday, right?
I think so.
There's like a black all digital Series X.
Oh yeah. I saw it. I had to think about it for a second.
Clearly, it left such a huge impression on Ozzie. Well, because it was so stunning.
I was more into those white, that all digital Xbox Series X that came in robot white.
Robot white. I'm sorry, robot white. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As opposed to robot chrome or robot black.
Okay, and space gray at Apple. Anyway, congratulations to Xbox on creating another console color. I'm sure people will buy these now.
They did it.
We got a Dying Light, the Beast trailer featuring Kyle Crane and guns. Looks kind of neat. Do you guys like the Dying Light franchise?
Friend of the show, Chris Buffa, is the Dying Light guy I know.
Yeah, that's right.
He loves that. Loves
he was big into the first one. I don't know about the second one. A lot of people fell off on the second one.
I had zombie fatigue, so I'm not in.
Mm-hmm. Marvel Rivals, that third-person shooter type game, hero shooter, I guess. Got a December release date, so that's coming out of whatever it is. It's not. Is it early access right now, or I don't know what it is.
It had a closed beta.
Okay,
I don't think it's playable at the moment. But
got it. Everything I've seen from it looks pretty fun. So we'll see.
I've enjoyed it, and I still don't understand how I got MVP in that one game that's up on our channel right now. But yeah, as an Overwatch alternative. I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm into any Overwatch.
Especially if they can tweak the whole thing about the environment destructibility. Like, I got stuck in a few places, but yeah, but they like to do that whole thing. Like, they did it to great effect in the finals, as Sam would tell you. But yeah, I think it has a few tweaks to be worked out, but I think what they have here is solid.
I still think the game with the most impressive destructible environments yet is Teardown.
Yeah.
That game was really cool. Also, Deep Rock Galactic has really cool destructible environments. But yeah, it's a choice that you have to make early on in game development. And then, yeah, to your point, you can create all sorts of bugs with it in like a multiplayer environment. So yeah, hopefully they polish it a little bit more, but everything we're seeing looks pretty fun. And it's going to be free to play, right?
It's going to be free to play, and all the heroes are going to be unlocked at launch, which is
that's
a pretty
cool.
Big deal. Yeah, it's really Overwatch 2 didn't do that.
No, a lot of these live service games don't do that. They put them behind DLC or season passes or whatever. So that's cool. That's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I actually want to play this game more.
Because it's Marvel. Like, what are you going to sell to people if you're Marvel? You're going to sell them costumes. You're going to send them like alternate, like they're like, oh, this is like Thor from Earth, whatever the hell. Like, he looks much cooler than regular. That's where you're going to make your money, not necessarily like gating off the heroes.
Which is smart. That's a smart way to handle it. So be interesting to watch that when it launches. But yeah, pretty exciting. I like what they're doing ahead of this. So Disney's really kind of getting their act together with these game licenses that they're working with. But yeah, I think this might be one of the biggest announcements from Jeff Fest, but it got leaked. Civilization 7 is coming out next year in February, and we got like a pretty extended gameplay reveal trailer. It looks great. I'm sure we can start nuclear war with Gandhi, so that's all I want.
Right.
Strategy folks are eating good right now between Civ 7 and I played bits and pieces of Era History Untold yesterday, which is all about building a civilization like back in the day from across different countries and different historical figures. And if you're into that sort of thing, which I personally am not, this is your time, man. Enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Some more just like random things. Goat Simulator Remastered got announced with a really funny trailer. We got a look at Joker in Persona 3, the Reloaded expansion. So there's like a battle with Joker in that game. So that's kind of neat.
Okay.
King of Meat looks ridiculous.
King of Meat is ridiculous. It's basically like a dungeon crawler with the Fall Guys aesthetic. And I played some of this. And their whole deal is it's basically like a super dungeon maker type of thing. Like every dungeon you play is going to be something that's made by the community, and it's going to be like a kind of a perpetual motion machine where people are just going to keep making new dungeons. They've made it so that it's all workable with a controller. So you take whatever asset you get, you make your own dungeon, you submit it, people play it, and you keep going. And it works with Mario Maker rules. You have to beat your dungeon first. So you can't make anything like stupid and impossible. So
that's the way. I'm very into this though. I'm going to play it for sure. And it looks fun as hell. Joe, I'm surprised you didn't put this on the rundown. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. We got a trailer for that from the Don't Nod folks.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, this is from Don't Nod Montreal, and it's actually their first game off of since they're making the Montreal studio. And good on them, because they do incredible work. I've loved the original Life is Strange. I wasn't as big of a fan of 2, but a lot of people are big fans of 2, and I think they tell amazing stories. I'm very excited to see what comes of this. And it's interesting that they have 2 release dates. They're doing it in 2 parts. So they're going to leave that first one off on a cliffhanger. And I'm here for it, because that's what got me into that first Life is Strange, was those episodic cliffhangers where I was like, okay, I'm going to keep coming back next month to play some more. And it fell out of fashion because, Telltale played that out to death, but no, I'm into this idea, and I want to see what it looks like when it comes out next year.
Nice. We got another trailer for Space Marine 2. That game looks pretty sweet. We got a look at Predecessor, which is a game that was built off of all those Paragon assets that Tim Sweeney made open source.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. That's coming out, I think, later this year. Is going 1.0.
Well, no, it's 1.0 now.
It's 1.0 now.
It launched at Opening Night Live.
Okay. It was one of those, and it's out now. Path of Exile 2 is looking cool as hell. We got a trailer for that.
Also got an early access date, which we didn't have before. So that's going to be a part of a very, very big best early access field for December deliberations.
Yep. Dune Awakening. We got a trailer for that. That's from the Conan Exiles devs. It's like an MMO in the Dune world, and you can fly ornithopters. I'm in. It's we got a release date. It's gonna come out sometime in early 2025. But that trailer. It's one of the more divisive ones because people are like, this doesn't look that good. The graphics don't look that good. But I'm like, this is a massive open world. Like, it doesn't need to look great as long as I can do fun things. And Conan Exiles was really fun. We did get a trailer for Reanimal, which is a new game from the Little Nightmares devs that looks kind of creepy and interesting. We got another look at Monster Hunter Wilds gameplay, which just inject that into my eyeballs more. Game looks great. I'm back. I took an entire console generation off of the Monster Hunter franchise.
So it's a good time to jump back in.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm back. And I can't wait for them to announce that's going to be on Switch 2, because that has to be on Switch 2.
Yeah. You played World last? Is that what you mean?
No. I played Ultimate Monster Hunter 3 on my Wii U.
Okay.
For 400 hours. And I was like, I'm going to take some time and do other things with my life.
I didn't know this about you. I didn't know that was a vice of yours.
It normally wasn't, but the Wii U had so few games.
Yeah, sure. I own that game as well. Yeah.
And it had so few good online games. And I'm not saying that the online setup was good, but once you got your friends together, it was a fun game.
Sure.
So I used to play it with a group of friends. It was like our game for a while. So yeah, like after that, I was like, I really appreciate Monster Hunter World for what it is. I tried to play Rise and I bounced off of it a little. So yeah, I think I'm finally ready to play Wilds, and it looks great. My one concern is I want cross progression in these games. So if I like pick it up on a Switch, I can play it on PC or something, or cross play. Like, there needs to be some of that in this game to really hit with me. A game that does have crossplay and I think rollback netcode, Fatal Fury. We got a trailer that showed off also their official trailer dropped with a release date. That game's coming out in April next year. I'm gonna try to go through these a little bit faster, but there's just a lot of cool stuff. Mecha Break got a trailer. That game looks awesome. It's like a Gundam mech battling game, multiplayer. We got an announcement. Monument Valley 3 is going to launch on Netflix games. Which is interesting. Netflix is
quietly putting together a really good year
and like publishing a lot of cool indies. So I'm here for it. There's a vehicle that was added to Starfield. It's called the Rev 8.
We also got the date for the expansion, but
whatever.
They're like, we got something for you today.
September, yeah. Shattered Space is September 30th. The thing that I think was the coolest, in my opinion, the best thing that Jeff showed us at at Jeff Com Opening Night Live was Secret Level, that Amazon TV show that's coming out.
You know what's funny is that you were busy in the video mines posting a lot of these trailers at the time, and I think Greg and I paused at like 2 or 3 different points to be like, Asif, look at this Secret Level thing, and you're like, and you didn't notice, but then when you did notice, you're like, what is this Secret Level thing? We're like, we've been trying to tell you, man.
Look, it was just me and the video mines, and like I got behind on. I think I edited like 56 trailers in a day. Like I ripped, edited, and uploaded 56 trailers that day. So
achievement unlocked.
I was very much behind the live show. So the guys in Discord with me were hearing me like on a 30-minute tape delay reacting to things, and I was like, wow, this Secret Level thing looks cool as hell. Like, Mega Man? I want to watch a show about Mega Man. I don't know, like, just the different IP that they're working with, it looks cool. And then there's also like Concord, apparently.
Yeah, it's a mixture of AAA and indie stuff, and I think that's what's most fascinating about it. Like, you see stuff like Mega Man and Pac-Man, but then you also see stuff like Spelunky and Sifu.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah,
it's like it shows like just the different level of stories that are being told across all of gaming. And I hope that this takes off, and I hope that we get like 5 or 6 seasons of this. It's Boulder Studio. It doesn't take them that long to do it either.
Yeah, it looks cool. If you missed it, Joe, I recommend watching that trailer. And it's going to be on Amazon Prime Video, so if you have Prime, you'll be able to watch it when it drops. It's exciting though. Delta Force Hawk Ops is now just Delta Force. They announced that at GEFCOM. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is releasing next year. That got delayed, but they did show us some gameplay. Looks interesting. There's a Batman Arkham game, but it's only in VR, so I'm sure Joe will never play it. But they showed us gameplay for Batman Arkham Shadow.
Yeah, is it? I'm surprised that the reaction. So, like, for a VR game, it's been a long time since a preview for a VR game was like this hot. Maybe that's just my read, but it seems like people are into it.
Oh no, I think a lot of people are mad. They'd rather just have an Arkham game that's not.
Oh well,
VR.
sure. But apparently it's very good, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a capable developer, but I think that the Arkham gameplay involves a lot of verticality. So how they handle that from the trailer, it didn't seem like you were jumping off of things, right? Because jumping in VR it can really cause simulator sickness. So
right,
we'll see. Yeah, I'm sure we'll review it when it comes out. We got a trailer for Little Nightmares 3. It looks pretty sweet. So big news out of that studio. They actually showed us 2 games, which is pretty neat.
Little Nightmares 3 was one of the games that I tried out at the Xbox Gamescom event, and it reminds me a lot of It Takes Two in terms of like if you're playing solo, it's still 2 characters, and like both of the characters have different functions, and you got to start getting around a world, and but yeah, I enjoy like the puzzle element. I enjoy the aesthetic. It's a lot. It looks really interesting, and I want to see more of it. And I'm supposed to check out. There's supposed to be co-op too, and I'm supposed to try it out in the co-op setting at PAX. So, stay tuned. So we'll have more to say about Little Nightmares 3 soon. But it looks tremendous.
And we got this trailer for Herdling, which looks kind of interesting. It's like a herding game. But then I think this is the weirdest thing at all of GEFCOM. He dragged out Peter Molyneux, and that guy is apparently making another game called Masters of Albion, and it takes place in the Fable universe, is what he claimed. The highlight of the trailer was that you could feed rat pie to peasants. But I don't know.
It seems illegal.
Does he have the rights to the Fable universe?
I don't know. Does he have the right to make any more games? I don't know. Here he is.
What?
Wasn't he last seen doing like an NFT project or something?
That's what I'm saying, man. Yes, he's fallen off a lot. Like, he's made mobile games, he's made NFT games, he's made a lot of cash grab games. Like, I don't know. I think it was weird to see him on stage and to see Jeff like hold him in such high regard. I'm like, I don't know about all this.
Well, that's par for the course for Jeff at this point.
Yeah, if you give Jeff money, he'll say nice things.
Shout out to Nathan at Aftermath, because I'm definitely gonna read his piece later, because for his dumb wordplay where he says we don't have to Mullet do this again.
Yep, I completely agree with everything that I read that already, and it's a solid article that breaks down why you should look at anything Peter Molyneux does with a huge grain of salt. Squid Game Unleashed got announced for Netflix games also. That makes all the sense in the world to make a Squid game and have Netflix games publish it. We got a trailer for Diablo 4, The Vessel of Hatred, and the president of Blizzard was on stage, and the creative director of Diablo was on stage. They were doing a lot there.
Yeah, because they don't have a BlizzCon anymore to do this stuff in.
RIP. We got a trailer for, I think it was there's a closed beta test for the first Berserker Kazan that was announced. Dark and Darker Mobile got announced. And yeah, they ended it with Mafia, the old country, Joe. Mamma mia, you're going back to the old country,
wow.
Joe. Are you excited?
Yes, to go.
Not a single word of Italian was shown in that trailer.
Well, certainly they'll be sampling the San Marzano tomatoes off the vine, I assume, in the game.
Yep. I like the Mafia series. I'm not mad at them making a new one. It's just
what kind of game is it? Like I feel like I've never seen it. Yeah? It's
like a more linear GTA is how I would describe them.
All right.
But they're not bad. Mafia 3 is actually quite fun. So yeah, I don't know. It's not for everybody, but they're not as expansive as a GTA would be. But they're definitely, they kind of scratch a similar itch.
Sometimes you don't need an expansive GTA. Like GTA itself is already like kind of too big.
We're about to find out how big is too big in GTA 6, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong 64 was too big for a lot of people, too.
Guys, will there be an article written with some headline approximating like, check out the spaghetti and meatballs in Mafia, the Old Country? Will there be some like insane attention to detail to spaghetti?
I wish. If there is, we'll write about it. I don't know if you watch the Shack News Awards, we've talked about cheeseburgers and Resident Evil for a few hours. So if there is spaghetti that is stunning, we will talk about it. We talk about water every year at the awards. So if there is like a, maybe there's a nice spread, right? Charcuterie board. I don't know, but we'll talk about it for sure.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
I think you're gonna have to play it though and give us like an Italian American take on it, because
from one paisan
to
the world.
Yeah, we need that. The world needs that. But yeah, those were most of the announcements at Jeff Com. We're saving one for a ranty at the very end. Spoilers. Anyway, so we're moving away from the opening night quickies towards Preview Palooza quickies plus quickies. So Ozzie, you played this game, I believe. Yeah, the Plucky Squire.
The Plucky Squire is something that on paper it looks really whimsical, looks really fun. The idea is you're a character in a storybook, in a kid's storybook, and eventually you get thrown out of the storybook so that you're playing the 3D real world. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, because I played the first 4 chapters, and man, they really deliver on this concept where you're turning pages on the picture book and you see like beautiful illustrations and like the epic narrator, and it's just you're scaling a mountain to face an evil wizard, and the wizard has found out like, hey, we're in a storybook, and in this storybook you always win, so I'm gonna take you out of the story. And he just throws the Plucky Squire out into the real world where you're suddenly doing 3D platforming and trying to find your way back into the story. And then you just start going back and forth, and the way they seamlessly blend the two ideas together and the two art styles together, I'm blown away by this. I cannot wait to play more of this in a few weeks. And I think this might be if they stick the landing on this, it's a dark horse for game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this is incredible, and what a feat this game is. I'm so stoked for it. I went into this like curious about it, and now I'm just like beyond excited for it.
Mm-hmm. The gameplay that you showed us where it's basically Punch Out, I was like, oh my god, I'm in.
Yeah, and they do like off the wall stuff like that. Like there's one section like towards chapter 3 or 4 where you need to get you need a bow, but you don't know where to get a bow. So what you do is you go to the 3D world, you go through a 3D platforming section, and you find like a Magic the Gathering card, and the character inside the card has a bow. So you got to go inside the card and fight that character to steal their bow. It's so cool. Like it's so original. I love this. Like go this. I'm trying to remember the developer's name. All Possible Futures. Like go these guys. Like I'm stoked for this.
It looks really interesting. And yeah, check out Ozzie's preview. He says the Plucky Squire bravely scales the 4th wall. I think that's a perfect way to describe what you're talking about. Sounds awesome. I want to play it too. That's coming out this year?
It's coming out this year, all platforms, including Switch.
Nice. Yeah, that's a perfect Switch game. We're getting a couple of like wacky games this year. Like, thank goodness you're here, and now the Plucky Squire. Like, these are outside the box kind of games. I love it. And yeah, those do tend to show up come award season. At the very least, it's going to be on our indie game of the year list. Our next preview was for Stormgate, which Will Borger gave us a preview for. Says Stormgate's early access release makes me want to play StarCraft 2 again, and that's good, I think. So this is a game that is basically a bunch of former Blizzard devs. A couple of other people from the RTS scene have joined forces. These are developers who worked on StarCraft 2, and Warcraft 3. It seems pretty interesting. It's still a preview, right? So we don't know like what the full version will be, but it looks like they're taking a lot.
It looks promising.
Mm-hmm. They're taking a lot of notes from what didn't go right with StarCraft 2, and I think maybe we're in an era of new RTS games. I think like we're starting to see them kind of appear more. We're starting to see strategy games appear more, and like those history simulator games like Civ and Anno and stuff. But I think RTS is still, like, as an ancient gamer, I always preferred RTS to MOBA games. So I would rather play an RTS game than a MOBA. The one that I play a lot is Offworld Trading Company. I still play that from time to time, and it's not a multiplayer game anymore. It's kind of dead, but the single player experience is still fun. And then TJ dropped a preview for the first chapter of MEO the Smiling Man. This was that creepy teaser trailer that Nintendo posted to social that ended up not being a third-party horror game that everyone thought it was. So this is Famicom Detective Club's latest entry, and it's looking pretty cool if you're into the detective style games. And it's definitely going to be
rated M.
Yeah, a rated M Nintendo game. I mean, it's about murder and all sorts of creepy stuff. So check out our review when it drops. We mentioned this already. Ozzie previewed King of Meat. Yeah, we already said what we need to say about it, but it looks cool as hell. That's one where I'm like, yeah.
And something under the Amazon Games umbrella, which, good to see that they're embracing more ideas like this.
They got a lot of money over at Amazon, so they can take some risks that other companies can't. We already talked about Avowed, but yeah, Ozzie previewed that. You should check it out. Elder Scrolls Formula in a Pillars of Eternity world. That's interesting. Pillars of Eternity had a really good sense of humor to it, so I'm going to be interested to see.
There's a lot of humor in this, especially with your companions, and that's another thing about the only having an hour with this. I met one companion, and it's like a green skinned guy named Kai, and he's kind of a sarcastic type, and he's got like that kind of Steve Blum kind of voice. Might actually be Steve Blum, I'm not sure, but he's got that kind of voice, and he delivers that dry sense of humor. And I want to see what the other companions are like. I want to see what how the game unfolds if you get somebody different.
Okay, and then we'll move away from the previews real quick towards some news. Did you see that Nintendo Museum Nintendo Direct?
I saw it.
Boy,
I did not. Tell me, like, assume the listener hasn't. What is this?
So Nintendo has built a museum in Kyoto, Japan, in the location of their original factory from 1889, the Hanafuda trading card factory. They have turned that location.
I hear you tapping your desk, which I'm telling you as a producer, and because I love your passion.
You heard it. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. But that's how important this is. They built a museum celebrating not just the video game history of the company, the entire history of the company is being celebrated and showcased at this place.
Wow.
So it's got all sorts of stuff, man. There is the first floor, it has this AR. The floor is an AR display that you can interact with your phone. So there's like card games and stuff that appear, I guess, on your phone. You get this little you get like a badge when you go in there, and it serves as this thing that you can scan at different experiences. So this shouldn't surprise anyone, but guess what? Most of the museum is interactive, and it's basically a video game. That's awesome. So there's like these experience rooms where they showed off what was called the Ultra Machine. The Ultra Machine basically was like a product for home that would throw wiffle balls at you. So if you just wanted to practice hitting wiffle balls, it was like a pitcher.
Wow.
So the first demo Miyamoto showed everyone was the Ultra Machine, where like you hit these wiffle balls into different objects in the room, and they're all interactive too. So it's very cool looking. Another station or another experience here, it's a shooting gallery, because Nintendo, before the Zapper became an NES product, they made light guns for shooting gallery arcades in like the 60s and 70s. So this is like a celebration of that, but it's like, it looked like Hogan's Alley with Mario characters, and you can choose between the light gun Zapper from the NES or the Super Scope from the SNES. So that's cool.
Wow.
He showed off like a display, like they have like a Famicom NES display area where they show like both consoles side by side, both controllers side by side, and a bunch of their first party titles, the box art, side by side. That all looks cool. The other thing, there are these giant controllers hanging from the ceiling in this place, Joe. So like there's a giant NES controller, there's a giant SNES controller, there's a giant N64 controller, there's a giant GameCube controller, there's a giant Wiimote. There's no giant Wii U gamepad.
Really?
No. They have once again retconned the Wii U from existence.
That's so weird. It's a museum.
There's a giant DS. There's no giant Wii U gamepad.
Strange.
They're not leading with the Wii U on anything these days.
No, but like Ozzy, there's this one, that 20XX image that I show people where they're trying to explain how Nintendo account's going to live on from Switch to Switch, whatever. They retconned the Wii U from that image too. Like a lot of the time when they talk about the history of video game consoles at Nintendo, the Wii U just doesn't make the slide. So I didn't notice a giant Virtual Boy either, but I'm sure there's a Virtual Boy somewhere in this museum. But so yeah, there's these giant floating controllers, but get this, there's also demo stations where you can play Mario with a giant NES controller, a Famicom controller.
You literally need 2 people to play it.
Yeah, so Miyamoto was controlling the D-pad, and the museum employee was controlling the B and the A button. So this seems all fun and dandy until you're actually playing a Wii game with a giant Wiimote.
You can see in the background 2 people are holding a Wii remote.
So it's just absurd.
But you can also see in the background the giant Wii Fit balance board and 2 people on that. That looks fun.
Yeah. No, I love how absurd this is. But it's also like, it's something that kids are gonna love, man. I can tell. That's gonna be so fun for kids. So yeah, it's a charming, adorable. It was like a 13-minute presentation from Miyamoto where you can tell he really cares about this stuff. He puts a lot of himself into these projects, but this is a really cool one. So yeah, it's opening in October. I believe October 2nd is the grand opening, and it's going to cost like $30 to get in there if you're an adult. I think there's lower prices for kids.
And for us, it'll probably cost like $1,500 round trip to go to Japan.
Yeah. I was looking at just hotel prices over there because I don't know, was thinking about going there. But what's interesting about Japan now from the last time I went there, because the last time I went to Japan was 2019, the yen has collapsed against the dollar, so your dollar goes a lot further over there than it used to. But yeah,
if you go out to Japan, you got to make a whole week of it at this point, because you also got Super Nintendo World over there, and they're going to be opening up Donkey Kong pretty soon.
Oh my god, the Donkey Kong roller coaster looks so cool.
But you might as well make like a whole week of this. Put a whole itinerary together.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, Kyoto's also like, I don't know, it's a really cool city, so you might want to be there for longer than just one day. Osaka and Kyoto are both kind of close to each other though, so it like you could stay in one town and like go to the other one intraday kind of thing. Like the train ride's like only like 30 minutes or something. But yeah, you're right. The longer I take between my trips to Japan, the more things I'm gonna have to do when I go back. But yeah, it is like set up where you could feasibly go to Tokyo Game Show and the grand opening of this museum within a week. And I thought about it. The thing I noticed, airline tickets are very expensive now.
That's the downside.
Yeah, it would cost more for the flight than to stay there for a week, which is weird. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So yeah, Joe, that's basically the highlights of it. They didn't show us everything.
It is a testament to Nintendo's success. This is such like a icing on the cake type of project.
Yeah.
Spare money.
Yeah, he's Miyamoto, I think his kind of his role has evolved to being this like curator of the brand almost, right? Like, and this is just a perfect example of that. And the attention to detail that he and the company has is on display there.
And it's something you would want to have launched with his watchful eye, not later.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it looks cool as hell. I did notice that it doesn't really talk about the people at Nintendo as much as it does the products. So,
that's in keeping with the way the company has always been run, where it obfuscates developers and that stuff is behind glass or behind blurry glass, I guess.
For sure.
They don't publicize it.
Yeah. So cool though. It looks cool as hell. It looks like that whole video, it gave me the vibes of like, I don't know if you ever saw the first Apple store when Steve Jobs did the tour of the first Apple store.
I think so.
I think it was the Manhattan one, the Cube or whatever. Or one of them. I can't remember what it was, but it reminded me of that. Like this was just like he was having a great day and he was just inviting us into his place to show it off. But yeah, it was very cool. Nice. I would recommend you go back and watch it, Joe. It's only 10 minutes. And then for people on Facebook, like they're watching our clips of it. I basically made 5 clips of it and people are losing their minds over the giant controllers. Some people are like, this is dumb. Other people are like, that's amazing. So
this is dumb. Just like so sad. Like that's the reaction. Give me a break.
Can you really not enjoy anything? Because I'm sorry. Whatever happened to you led to you being so joyless. But giant NES controller, sign me up.
Yeah.
Something you can't sign up for very much longer. Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It's not being shut down entirely, but they're moving it from a live service online app to a offline app.
Ooh.
And this is why
you can keep your stuff, right?
Yes. The only thing you won't be able to transfer are Leaf tickets. I guess they're going to end the sale of Leaf tickets, which were the gate behind playing the game. I believe it was like a paywall kind of thing. And they're going to provide refunds to people if you have already bought Leaf tickets and they can't be used anymore. So you have until November 29th before this happens. But it's why I never got into this game. I was like, I don't trust Nintendo mobile apps. They don't stick around for long. And I don't want to become invested in a game and then see them kill it.
Sure.
But, now it's going to be a paid app as opposed to a free app. There's a bunch of changes being made, but like I know people who are super into this game, and I think this is the best way to handle this. This is better than just killing it, I think. So yeah, those are our quickie. Oh, we got one last quickie. This is kind of part of Preview Palooza too. Ozzie, you played, or you didn't play, but you got to see live gameplay of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle?
I did. Gameplay is not it wasn't what I expected it to be, in that it's got a lot more puzzle solving than I would have expected. And also the combat, yeah, you can use the whip and the revolver in combat, but like if you're in a situation where you're like you're trying to sneak in somewhere, you're gonna get into fist fights with dudes. And it turns into kind of like a pseudo punch-out type of thing. Not like the Plucky Squire's punch-out sequence, but like a different kind of like punch-out style brawl. And I think that aspect of it looks really cool. And I guess I don't know. I definitely want to go hands-on with it more. But like what I saw of it is it's a lot of going into ruins. It's going into temples, avoiding traps, solving different puzzles, trying to avoid dying by like triggering something or whatever, or falling into quicksand. And like I can get into it, but I wasn't like overly impressed by what I saw.
So you talked about the brawling aspect. That seems like true to the actual franchise. Like Indiana Jones does fist fight a lot of people. Like a lot of the time it comes down to hand-to-hand combat, either in tight spaces or whatever. So that seemes true to the franchise.
And if you're sneaking around, like you take out dudes by like grabbing whatever object you can find, like smashing it over a dude's head, and it's like, okay, that's cinema right there. I'm into that. Yeah,
and all that is, I think, true to the franchise. The thing that I'm worried about is that machine games, they tend to be, they have a very similar feel to all their games, and they're hard. They're not easy. So I'm curious, like you didn't really get to play it, but I'm curious how the difficulty will ramp in this game. And to your point, like, is the whip just kind of there, or is it really like a cool gameplay mechanic?
It can be a really cool gameplay mechanic because you're either using it in combat to try and like trip up enemies, or you're using it to traverse. And
that's what I'm saying.
You're like swinging around. There was a sequence that I saw inside one of the temples where you had to grab a trident that was on the ground. You hurl it against the wall, and that's where you launch yourself off the whip. So there's going to be stuff like that. And I think that could be where they make good use of it.
So that was the nice portion of us talking about Indiana Jones. But on to the longy, I guess.
Or the ranty, I think is what you wanted to call it.
I guess it is a ranty. I don't know. I'm so tired of talking about Microsoft every week. But here we go.
But they give you something every week, though. They give you
really
something new that's their rant about.
I know. And this time it's so blatant. Okay, so Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is launching on December 9th on Xbox and PC. But wait, there's more. They paid Jeff Keighley to break the news that it's coming to PlayStation 5 in spring 2025. Now, you'll remember, Joe, just 6 months ago, we talked about how this wasn't coming to PlayStation 5. And
That's
our
right.
source was Phil Spencer at a Xbox podcast. Remember the emergency Xbox podcast that they held? Remember that?
Who could forget it? There's there's going to be a statue of that podcast. Yeah.
It'll be Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, Phil Spencer, and Tina Amini all standing there or sitting there. He said it. He said it wouldn't. He said it wouldn't come to PlayStation, and now it is 6 months later. And there was some interview with another person that they handpicked from Xbox to talk to them. And he was like, well, we run a business. No shit, you run a business. You know what normal businesses in the video game industry do? They tell us how many units they sell. How is this the second largest company on earth? And you can't tell us, oh, we have a lot of people playing Xbox. I can't confirm or deny that. He's like, oh, we're seeing growth in players. It's like, have you sold more? How many have you sold? What's the total amount of Xboxes? What's the addressable market of Xbox consoles? Why don't we know any of those? Why don't we know the answer to any of those questions? Because you can hide behind, but we run a business. Okay, fine. But why on earth should I buy Xbox hardware right now?
Because it's glittery.
Okay, because it has sparkles on it, and we removed the disc. We removed the physical media port. Okay, but why? Starfield, I can play that on PC. All these games that are exclusive to Xbox can be played on PC, and now it's like, oh, if I can play it on PlayStation, I don't need an Xbox.
It's pretty bad. I have my Xbox sitting next to PlayStation 5 here, and it's anecdotal, but I can't be alone. I have no reason to turn it on. And,
none.
Yeah.
And especially in a Steam Deck world now, you're playing a lot of your games on Steam Deck probably that would have been, maybe they would have been on Xbox, but maybe they would have been on PC. But I think there's no reason to buy an Xbox right now. There's nothing exclusive to it.
The only reason would be, I don't think they're espousing this, these values, but they could be the cheap console or whatever. They could try to go that route where if you want multi-platform stuff, it's half price here. Or I don't know. They're not going to go that low, but they could. There's a marketing angle where they could be successful without the exclusives, but they don't seem to be doing that. So they don't have exclusives, and there's really no pitch. In fact, they have an anti-pitch because they're saying, well, you don't even need the box at all.
Yeah, between their cloud push and the PC Game Pass push, they're basically telling you don't need this hardware.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. If they were such geniuses over there at Xbox, if they were such business magnates, they probably would tell you how their division's doing on a profit and loss basis each quarter. They don't. This whole we're a business. Phil Spencer, you are a business. You're the shittiest business that Microsoft owns. They're embarrassed by you. And this is I don't think Phil Spencer's going to make it a year. I think this is the last year. This is it for him. And I think his underlings will probably also fall. I think the Xbox brand may die. Because what even is an Xbox? Why? xCloud will survive, but they already changed the branding of Xbox. It used to be Xbox Game Pass Ultimate was for PC. Now it's just PC Game Pass. So they're
right?
already they're already setting up for Xbox to die, in my opinion. And this is just I know it's just one game, but it's not. There's 5 games now that they've done this with?
They said on that podcast 4 games and Indiana Jones is not one of them.
Yeah.
But they also said one of those games was Hi-Fi Rush, and they talked about how proud they were of Hi-Fi Rush, and then they shut down Tango Gameworks. Not even
in a month. In a month, it went from we're so proud of how well Hi-Fi Rush did, 20 million players, to we're running a business. We had to shut down Tango Gameworks, even though Krafton bought them. So it's I just I don't know. This is a blatant lie. I remember when they did the podcast, we were like, this is a bad idea. They shouldn't even do this podcast. And now here we are.
Does anybody know how long it takes to make a port like that? If it's coming out in spring, this deal was done before February. And if it wasn't done before February, nobody told Phil Spencer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and it makes him look stupid.
He either lied or he didn't know, which also isn't good.
Yeah, if he didn't know, what's the point of listening to him? And if he did know, he's a liar. I have a bad feeling that the Xbox brand is not long for this world. I don't think we're going to see another Xbox. I know they said that they're working on a new Xbox hardware system, but like, no. Why?
I feel like we should be clear that's like, I'm not, despite the tenor of this conversation, I'm not upset that Indiana Jones is multi-plat. Like,
oh no, that's fine. Like,
by all means, like, why would I care if like this studio? How many Wolfenstein games were multi-platform? How many Bethesda games were multi-platform? Or id games were multi-platform?
The issue isn't that Indiana Jones is coming to PS5. The issue is that they blatantly said one thing, and that's not what happened.
But also, like, the whole point of this, the last few years for Microsoft, the last 5 years, has been acquire to bolster our first-party IP war chest. And then they turn around and they turn it into third-party again. What was the point of the acquisition?
It's never materialized. All of that really never came to be. Like, there was never that like fleet of games that like you saw in your mind's eye when they're in 2018 E3, they're making all these announcements, and we acquired this, and Keynote just makes it look lavish. The thing on the screen, you're like, oh my goodness,
all of our Xbox game studios.
Yeah, they're like, you come out of that conference room. Were you there at 2018? I think it was 2018. Yes. We left the theater and we're like, wow, that was incredible. Like they look so competent. Look at all this momentum they're building, and it never came to be. And I think that this story is really just about, like, it always feels like they're the reason it doesn't come to be. Like, let's see what happens. I don't think that Indiana Jones moves the needle, frankly, right? But the point is, like, I don't know, maybe it would. And maybe like the avalanche effect of 5 of these first party games being just on Xbox indeed would make a difference in aggregate. But we don't get the chance to see if that happens or not. They always rip the plug out in the past couple years. They keep ripping the cord before there's a chance to test the hypothesis.
Or they rush something out the door that's not ready, like Halo Infinite.
That's it.
Or whatever they're going to do to the Gears franchise. Yeah, Redfall. Redfall's a perfect example, Ozzie. Thank you. That's it. Like, they're not letting their studios cook. They're forcing stuff out the door. They're delaying games so they can make room for other games. They spent $70 billion acquiring Activision Blizzard. Do you think they will ever make that money back?
How much is Call of Duty going to make for them?
Not $70 billion. And I think, spoiler alert, have you seen what they've done to other acquired properties? I just mentioned Halo Infinite. Like, the Gears franchise is on life support right now. I think it stands to reason to believe that we're seeing the peak of COD, or we've already seen the peak of COD as a franchise. Because ignoring Microsoft, Activision also has a track record of destroying their own IP. So it's just, I have very little confidence that they're going to make the $70 billion back. Maybe the Blizzard side of the company could help over time, but you're talking decades before that actually sees a return on investment. So it's like, we're really smart business people. No, you're fucking not. You're not. You say you are, but you suck at this. And you should probably lose your job, Phil Spencer, because you lied to your consumers. If at the very least you were just ignorant, but I'm pretty sure you lied. Either way, I don't trust him, and I don't see why a customer would. And like, why would you buy an Xbox right now?
They're trying to sell Xbox Game Pass at this point.
But I could play those on PC.
Yeah.
That's like, it makes all the sense in the world to have a PlayStation 5 because there's exclusives there. And it makes all the sense in the world to own a Nintendo device because there's exclusives there. But in a world where Microsoft is a publisher that values PC more than they do Xbox, which is becoming abundantly clear to me because they're a Windows developer, they own Windows. They see the amount of people playing games on Windows. I think the company has shown that they don't care about Xbox anymore because the ZeniMax deal was a big deal at the time. And, I don't think Doom has gone single platform. Avowed, at least right now, we know Avowed is just on Xbox, but was it Pentiment? Wasn't that one of the 4?
Yeah, that was one of the 4.
Yep.
So like Pentiment came over to Switch and to PlayStation.
It was Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves.
I really don't understand, just from a business standpoint, I don't understand spending billions of dollars acquiring third-party studios to turn them into first-party studios, only to turn them back into third-party studios. What was the point of this?
Woof.
That's it. That's all I have to say. Like, what was the point of this? It seems like a gross waste of money, and a bunch of developers got thrown under the bus because redundancies. It's like ZeniMax, you would have probably been better off alone. Activision, people seem to forget why Activision was acquired. Bobby Kotick was in multiple scandals that crashed the stock price that led to this. Microsoft was being opportunistic, and then they still are going to screw it up somehow. But yeah, that's it. We did it. Those are all the story time stories. It wasn't too much of a ranty. I'm telling you, like, if Microsoft steps on their dick once a week, there's going to be diminishing returns on my front about me being surprised at them doing it. Like
what are they going to do next week?
I don't know. They're going to acquire Keyboard Cat.
Of all the polls, you got Keyboard Cat?
I don't know, man. They're running out of bullshit to do. So I'm like, what's a stupid waste of money? I don't know. Acquire Keyboard Cat, Microsoft. And really, the point is,
we're pivoting to NFTs.
Why aren't they making 1 versus 100? Like, that's perfect. Just make that game and put it exclusively on your platform, and I'll play it. I will fire up my Xbox and I will play that game.
Somebody at Amazon Games is going to make a game show based on like the 1% Club, and it's going to make all the money. I'm just telling you that right now. Free idea, Amazon.
Yeah, go
that
for it.
That game show's great. Have you watched that, Asif?
No, I've seen some
the 1% Club with Patton Oswalt. It's awesome. I love it. It reminds me a lot of 1 versus 100. So I hope Amazon gets on that.
Okay. Well, Bezos, we know you're listening. Obviously, towards the end of the episode, you make it all the way. But while you're here, Jeff, you should leave us a review at your local podcast facility.
Thank you, please.
There was another game I've been playing lately that I didn't mention, and I kind of want to mention it here towards the end. I played Bubbletron all week. I've been playing it quite a bit. It's our Shack News game. The on this day stuff that it does. This week was pretty much full of bangers. Today, which is Thursday the 22nd. Yeah. It's the anniversary of the U.S. patent for liquid soap being granted in 1865. So shout out to liquid soap. The day before, Hawaii was celebrating its becoming the 50th state in America. Hawaii rules.
Yep. And
earlier this week, it was the National Football League's birthday, and no one else mentioned it except for Bubbletron.
Wow.
So, those are some cool things. Also, just some of the solutions have been outstanding this week. We had the low valuation of the day earlier this week was a SaaS productivity suite advertising AI agent. We had the top valuation was a 64K camera hand sanitizer money printer. I don't know who wouldn't want that.
Yep.
THC infused hand sanitizer for babies. I don't know about the legality of that. There was a SaaS productivity suite NFT stadium that was valued at the low of a day. There was a gas guzzling telecom conglomerate for pop stars. An autonomous infomercial app developer. All I'm getting at is there was some really good ones recently. The low valuation was a pro wrestling lawn care service presidential debate, and a gamified infomercial for cats was valued at $107 trillion earlier this week.
It's really an inadvertent fortune-telling tool.
Yeah, honestly, I think the thing that I didn't realize is that people are so conditioned to absurd valuations now that Bubbletron isn't wacky enough for society. But it is free to play. We have a leaderboard. I encourage people to try it out at bubbletron.com for free. So yeah, we have some community notes. Let's hit these and then we'll get the hell out of here. How about that, guys?
Yeah.
Community notes. We've got a few questions and comments from the Shack News community, which you can join by heading over to shacknews.com/chatty or by emailing Ozzie at shacknews.com. Right? No? Sure.
Hooray.
We had comments on our Shack Together thread, like the thread on the chatty. We had people actually commenting on it. Romsteady said, "This was a good episode, but people have yet to figure out how to run Doom on a podcast." And then RMS said, "Put Schnapple on it." The reason that RMS said put Schnapple on it, Schnapple is a developer who has ported Doom and Quake to iOS, Apple TV, Mac, all sorts of things. I think he has a website called Mac Source Ports. But yeah, shout out to Snapple. He's a great dude. Met him at several Quake cons. Cool. And yeah, just a fun, he just does these fun developer projects, but he has optimized Doom to run on basically anything. And yeah, that game, based on Joe's game last week, Doom can run on just about anything. And then yeah, Haas Mamu on YouTube said, TJ is always good. And yeah, I agree. We love TJ here.
He's the best.
Except last week I beat him. Or 2 weeks ago, whatever that was.
That was last week.
Or did he beat me? I beat Donovan. And
you beat Donovan. TJ won. I thought TJ won.
Yeah, TJ won. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Give us a review. Leave us 5 stars. Say it's the best podcast ever. Tune in every Friday for more Shack Together. Go on our YouTube channel and check out the vertical video I posted and click like and share it, because that's what podcasts really are these days. Just fodder for vertical video, right, Joe?
Right. That's right. Not the other way around.
Ticker, if that's true.
Yeah, it says not the other way around. The point of recording the show we're doing right now is to make clips.
Vertical videos.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to get better at that. I'm going to try to do that once an episode at the very least or something, but it's hard when you're editing other videos. But Ozzie, always good to have you in the Shack News Extended Podcast universe. Or the CPOO. The kids are still calling that, Joe? They're still calling
Ticker, this thing is so slow. I'm out of ink. I'm out of ink.
Always happy to be here.
And yeah, great job over at the Pokemon World Championships, Ozzie, and everything else you're doing. So we appreciate you.
I will have a lot of stuff going up on Shack News over the next few weeks, and so will Greg Burke, who is, I think he just may have a permanent residence in the video mines at this point. Yeah.
Greg is so deep down in the video mines that like I didn't even tap him to help with the video mine work I was doing during JeffCom, because it was just like, go work on your backlog, Greg. But yeah, check out our YouTubes. There's a whole thing after the podcast that tells you where to go. But yeah, we have a lot of great content on the site, on YouTube, on social media, wherever you are, we are, and we're bringing content directly and shoving it in your face. So that'll do it. Wow. This is where we wave at the camera that's not on, tell everyone we'll never forget them and we love them, and bye. Say bye.
Thanks.
Bye,
thanks, Ozzie. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye. Production. Shack News is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including ShackNews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shack News content is readable and viewable at ShackNews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shack News Interviews, and Shack News VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shack News Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle, where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit Bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required. But if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shack News is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at shacknews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feeds. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shack News ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shack News swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.